Is the Series X the last Xbox console? Is Xbox the new Sega? You won't believe what the CEO of Microsoft said. Let's discuss. What's up guys, and welcome back to Xbox Ready, the YouTube channel that is all about Xbox. Only Xbox here. If you want something else, go somewhere else. Maybe check out my friend Jimmy's PlayStation channel, PS Ready. Probably don't want to because you clicked on the Xbox channel, but hey, you never know. All I gotta say is that if you love Xbox as much as I do, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel, whether you're a veteran fan, you were day one, you got the OG Xbox, we're playing Combat Evolved day one, or if you just bought an Xbox this generation, and you're new to the family. But fans young and old are concerned about some things they've been hearing about Xbox and Microsoft over the past week or two. It all started with reports that Xbox was exploring the possibility of potentially bringing some of their older exclusives to other platforms like the Nintendo Switch and the PS5. Games that were candidates included Hi-Fi Rush and Sea of Thieves. Xbox hasn't denied or confirmed these rumors yet. CEOs of Microsoft, Satya Nadella, has thrown gasoline all over the fire when it comes to these rumors. In a recent interview, he said, "We think that now we have the ability to do what we always set out to do, which is build great games and deliver them to folks across all platforms, which is Xbox and consoles, PCs, mobile gaming, and cloud gaming." And of course, the gaming community took that as like, oh, Xbox is cooked. They're not going to make consoles anymore. They're going full third party. The proof is in the pudding. It came right from the horse's mouth. And I'm wondering if this is kind of a non-story. I'm wondering if he meant to say Xbox consoles, PCs, cloud gaming, mobile gaming, instead of Xbox and consoles. But when you look at comments that the CFO of Microsoft said at the Wells Fargo Tech Summit, where he was like, yeah, we want to bring our games and even Game Pass to all platforms. Let's put Game Pass on Switch. Let's put Game Pass on PlayStation. It kind of seems that Xbox is exploring the possibility of bringing their games to other platforms. It just does. But I'm questioning, is this as big of a deal as people are making it out to be? I know we're all excited about the Xbox exclusives that we're going to get this generation, but Xbox Game Studios already has a number of titles that they support that are available on multiple platforms. Games like Minecraft, Call of Duty is definitely going to be multi-platform, Psychonauts 2, Deathloop, Ghostwire Tokyo, Fallout 76, The Elder Scrolls Online. Sure, all of those titles were multi-platform before Xbox bought their studios and publishers. I'm just saying that there's a precedent, that's something that they don't really seem to mind. Let's key in on something Satya Nadella said, specifically when he said success on all platforms. What does that mean? Are we heading towards a future where Xbox goes full third party, they're just a publisher, they're not a platform holder? Is there going to be a future where there's no need to buy an Xbox at all, where an Xbox doesn't even exist? I personally don't think so, at least not in the immediate future. Listen, I'll never say never, but here's what I think is actually going to go down, and this might disappoint some people because this is not like an extremist Twitter, YouTube take, but here's what I think is going to go down. This video is sponsored by Manscaped. 2024 is the year, y'all. We're going to take care of ourselves. We're going to stay hydrated, drink water. We're going to exercise. We're going to read books. We're going to take care of ourselves, make sure we're groomed nicely. And Manscaped is a huge part of my personal grooming routine. Today I'm going to be talking about the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra. You'll see a lot of cool new stuff in this package, but you'll also get the classics, such as the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. With the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra, they've taken a product that was already pretty good and leveled it up. The updated trimmer blade features teeth that are longer, rounder, tougher on hair, and once you're done with the trimmer, you can change that out for the foil blade to really get that close, smooth shave. It's the perfect grooming tag team that's tough on hair, but gentle on the skin. You don't have to worry about messing anything up, if you know what I mean. The Lawnmower 5.0 also has a bigger LED light to help you reach those places that you can't really see too well. It's waterproof, it has a rechargeable lithium-ion battery, RPM technology, it has a travel lock to make sure that it's nice and portable. And if you want to take it even further, the Performance Package also includes the Weed Whacker 2.0, which brings all the same benefits of the lawnmower to your nose hairs. You gotta make sure that your nose hairs are trimmed, guys, especially as we get older. You don't want any stragglers popping out of your face. And finally, finish it off with the Crop Soother and the Crop Preserver. And if you buy the Performance Package, they'll also throw in 2 free gifts. The Manscaped Boxers 2.0 that come with the certified jewel pouch for maximum comfort, and also the Shed 2.0 to take your grooming experience and your routine with you wherever you go. Head on over to manscaped.com/xboxready to get your hands on the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra. When you use that link, you'll get 20% off of your purchase, plus free international shipping, plus those 2 gifts that I was just talking about. Thanks so much to Manscaped for sponsoring this video. Games like Call of Duty, obviously, those are going to remain multi-platform because Xbox pinky promised that they were going to do just that in order to close the Activision Blizzard deal. Their bigger first-party titles, Indiana Jones, Fable, Clockwork Revolution, a new Halo game, a new Gears game, I would bet my life that those are going to be exclusive. And the multi-plat stuff they'll consider for the smaller, older games, like Hi-Fi Rush, like Sea of Thieves. Why not Sea of Thieves? It's a multiplayer game, it could use a boost in population. And even if they don't keep some of the bigger stuff exclusive forever, I think it's more reasonable to think that the bigger stuff will launch exclusively on Xbox, and then maybe they'll get like a Hogwarts Legacy treatment where it rolls out to other platforms later on. I was talking to my friend Jimmy, who again runs that sister channel, the PlayStation version of this channel, PS Ready, and he is one of the biggest haters of the Epic Games Store. But Ray, why is that relevant? We were just talking about Xbox, we were just talking about consoles. Why are we talking about a launcher that's exclusively on PC? Because as we were talking, I started to think, is Xbox like the new Epic Games Store? For those of you who don't game on PC and don't know what the hell I'm talking about, Epic Games, they've been around for a while, they've done a lot of stuff, but more notably, nowadays, they're tied to Fortnite. And then a couple of years back, they were like, you know, it would be a genius idea if we launched our own game launcher, like Steam, or like the freaking Battle.net launcher. Only problem is, the interface and the functionality of the Epic Games Store launcher is crap. It's universally hated. But they were like, it's okay. Even if people hate it, they're gonna have to use it because we're gonna make some of our biggest IP exclusive to our launcher. But even though they did that, even though they're giving away games for free through the Epic Games Store, it still hasn't really moved the needle for them. It still hasn't convinced a ton of people to be like, you know what, yeah, Epic Games Store launcher, that's way better than what I have going on Steam. And Xbox, unfortunately, is in a similar position as of now. Their exclusive games, Game Pass, putting their exclusive games onto Game Pass, it doesn't really seem to be moving the needle in terms of console sales. And we haven't really seen explosive subscriber growth for Game Pass. At least not in the way that we were potentially thinking at the beginning of this generation. Listen, Game Pass at the beginning of this generation, at the launch of the Series X and S, was largely believed that Game Pass was going to turn around Xbox. It was going to put them back on top. It was going to be such a good deal that people were going to be running to the stores to buy an Xbox console in order to have a Game Pass subscription. Of course, Xbox has been a little slow in putting out those day one exclusives, which was the big draw for Game Pass in the first place. And it's got me thinking, can Game Pass really be the savior of Xbox in the way that a lot of fans expected it to be? And unfortunately, the truth is we still don't know. We're hearing conflicting things about this. On one end, Sony is like, oh man, there's no way that we can compete with Xbox putting their exclusives on Game Pass. That's unsustainable. They have us shaking in our boots. But on the other end, we have dudes like Matt Piscatella, who is the executive director and video game analyst at Circana, formerly known as NPD. He also used to work at Activision and WB Games. Well, he had a lot of people talking this week because he put out a tweet in which he independently found that subscription services on console and PC platforms accounts for only 10% of total video game content spending in the US. And of course, that's got a lot of people talking, and it's got me wondering, did Xbox bet on the wrong horse? Are they regretting creating Game Pass? Because of course, they've invested heavily into Game Pass. They've committed to putting all of their first-party exclusives day one onto the service. They also buy exclusivity for third-party titles to do the same thing with, like Stalker 2. And again, it's often viewed as Xbox's savior this generation, the thing that it was going to turn it around. And of course, findings like these throw doubt on all of that. But I'm questioning once again, guys, if this is a non-story. Specifically because of this guy's follow-up tweet that no one not a single person seems to be talking about. Literally, as part of that thread, he goes on to say, subs have been more additive than cannibalistic and offer players, devs, and publishers more choice on how to play or how to go to market. Fear-mongering on this topic is quite unnecessary. But it doesn't stop people from doing it, and that is why I can't stand some of the discourse around gaming in the industry, because there seems to be no one in the middle, right? It's always extreme takes. Xbox is gonna die. No, Xbox is gonna dominate. And it's like, whew, man, sometimes it's just hard to keep up with. You got people out there claiming from this one tweet that Game Pass is gonna destroy Xbox because it only accounts for up to 10% of console spending, and I'm gonna have to disagree on that. Listen, I'm not saying that Xbox is not gonna be destroyed. Anything can happen, right? But if it does happen, I don't think it's gonna be Game Pass's fault. At least not the only reason. I think people are forgetting one important and very obvious thing. Game Pass is not the only way you can play games on your Xbox. And that's where it differs from traditional streaming subscription services. A service like Netflix, subscriptions are their only source of revenue. On Xbox, yeah, Game Pass is an option, but you can still buy the games. You can buy the games off of Game Pass, you can get a discount with them if you have a subscription, and if you don't have a subscription at all, you can still buy the games. And like many other companies, they still get revenue from their in-game transactions. I think we all just need to calm down on the Xbox doomsday talk. Sure, maybe subscription services like Game Pass, like PS Plus Extra, maybe they're not gonna dominate in the way that we thought they would be. Maybe it's not the future of gaming. But as this dude Matt is saying, I think it's a great option for players. I can't speak too much about being a dev and using it or being a publisher and using it because I don't work in those sectors. But I've personally gotten a lot of value out of my own Game Pass subscription. I still buy games, contrary to popular belief, oh, Xbox owners don't like to buy games, they're broke. But nonetheless, I think it's a good option. And while yes, Game Pass is a huge part of Xbox's identity this generation, I think they also view it as an option, just as a way to get people to play their games. The existence of PC Game Pass hasn't stopped Xbox Game Studios from being one of the #1 publishers on Steam, meaning that PC players, even though they know that they can play a game through PC Game Pass as part of a subscription for a reduced price, a lot of them are still choosing to buy the games through Steam. Hi-Fi Rush sold very well on Steam, even though it was released simultaneously on Game Pass. Same thing with Starfield. I think if Xbox can continue maintaining a balanced approach to how they distribute their games, not leaning too heavily into one sector or the other, not go like full kilter into Xbox cloud gaming, for example, or full kilter into Game Pass, just having a balanced kind of approach, I think they'll make it out of this generation way better than when they started. But Game Pass specifically seems to be a very controversial topic still, years after its launch within the industry. You got people like Ubisoft who seem to be all about it, to the point where Philippe Tremblay was speaking to GameIndustry.biz and was like, yeah, we're all about it, but the one thing is that gamers have to get used to not owning their games, which is something that we saw with people who own movies and television series. They were cool with not owning their film and television series, but they were cool streaming it. And like, I get what he was trying to say, but I feel like he shouldn't have said it still. That is like one of the #1 ways to piss gamers off. It's a sensitive issue. It's a sensitive subject, especially in an age where left and right games are getting shut down, servers are getting shut down, and the games are lost forever. We also see more indie developers popping up and say, oh, Game Pass did great for us. It was really awesome for us. That never gets talked about though, because for every one of those, you have people who are skeptical about it. Joseph Fares, the game director of games like It Takes Two, has been a notable opponent of gaming subscription services. And the CEO of Larian Studios, the guys who brought us Baldur's Gate 3, also threw his 2 cents into the ring, saying that it's going to be a lot harder to get good content if subscription models become the dominant model and a select group gets to decide what goes to market and what not. Subscription models will always end up being cost-benefit analysis exercises intended to maximize profit. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it may not become a monopoly of subscription services. Summing it up at the very end with, you won't find our games on a subscription service, even if I respect respect that for many developers. It presents an opportunity to make their game. I don't have an issue with that. I just want to make sure the other ecosystem doesn't die because it's valuable, meaning the straight from developer to consumer model that we all are familiar with, that we grew up with. And all of this back and forth, Game Pass is great. No, it's not. We're a little scared of Game Pass. Unfortunately, we may not know the full effect that Game Pass has had on the video game industry for a number of years. It's something that we're gonna have to look back on in retrospect, like 10 years from now. Oh man, the gaming industry really took a shift for the better when Game Pass was introduced. Or, man, Game Pass really messed things up. But no matter what the future holds, I am personally enjoying the Xbox platform and my Game Pass subscription in the present moment. But anyways, guys, that's all the Xbox stuff I have to talk about today. Thanks so much for joining me for another edition of Xbox Ready, and we'll see you in the next video.